So today, this video is going to focus on inserting a candle into a cupcake and then lighting it. Let's check out our materials. All of our materials are on a tray. This tray is going to be handy for keeping things contained, especially since one of our materials might want to roll away from us. That first thing is going to be a candle. We'll talk a little bit more about it in a second. Front and center is a cupcake with white frosting. Let's go back to our candle for a minute because I forgot to mention that it is orange with white polka dots. And then last but not least, we have a lighter. And the lighter just so happens to be bright yellow. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to go ahead and take care of is sticking our candle right into the middle of our cupcake. As we center the cupcake in our candle, we want to make sure that the wick of the candle is facing downward. That's going to be important because the wick is what we want to light the candle with. The wick end is going to have a wax coated strip that's sticking outward. On some candles, that is going to be a portion of fabric. It might be a piece of wood sticking out, but it's the material that's going to ignite when lit. So if you explore the candle on either end, one end is usually going to be a flatter end, like on this candle. So I found a flat end. And on the other end, if I move my fingers down towards it, I have found a pointy end. And that is what we want to stick straight up towards the ceiling. Now I'm going to place that candle back down and work on finding the middle point of my cupcake. In order to do that, I'm first going to place my hands on either side of the cupcake. I'm holding it so that my index fingers are pointed away from me on either side of the cupcake. By doing this, I can gauge how big this cupcake is from left to right. That gives me an idea of the size of this cupcake, the diameter of it approximately, to let me kind of get an idea of how big it might be from left to right and where the midpoint is in that direction. To gauge how big it is from front to back, I'm going to wrap my hand around this cupcake like I might grab a can of soda or grab someone's arm for a human guide. In this position, my thumb is pointing towards the inside of the cupcake along the back side of the cupcake, and my index finger and all the rest of my fingers are along the front side of the cupcake. From here, I'm going to grab my candle, again with the wick pointing upward, and start to try to gauge where the midpoint of the cupcake is between my index finger and my thumb. This is going to be approximate, but try to gauge that point. It could be helpful to bring your fingers up slowly and together so that they meet in the middle. And then you can hover the candle at that point. Once you've done that, you can then use your hands to go from the cupcake out to the outer edges. So out to the right, bring a finger into the cupcake, and then out to the left to see how much space is on either side and see if those spaces are even. And if you notice that when you do it, when you touch the candle and go out to the left or the right, that there's more space, feel free to adjust. And you can go in any direction. So you can go from the candle and out to the front, from the candle and out to the back, to see if all those points of, I think we're working with radiuses then, or radii, to do a little bit of geometry. See if they're even, and that'll help you center your candle. I think that's good enough. Now I'm going to push it down into the cupcake, making sure that it's straight as it goes in. I'm going to push it so that it's deep enough that when I wiggle it a little bit, it doesn't move. So it's nice and stable. And there we have it. My candle is in my cupcake. Now let's talk about this lighter for a moment. This lighter is a shorter version of what some people may call a barbecue lighter, or a stick lighter, or even a candle lighter. It looks kind of like a capital letter L. It is long and rectangular and has a cylindrical portion that comes off of one end of that rectangle, which is where the flame will ultimately come out of. There's a little trigger on it that, when pushed down, as I'm going to do now, will cause the fire to ignite. And it'll also click when that happens. So when you push down on it, you're going to hear a click, and you may also hear the whoosh of the flame. Like so. Some lighters may have a safety button that you have to click before. Some may have a switch or other actions that you have to do in conjunction with the trigger. So make sure that you're checking for those things as you're checking out your lighter. But this is how this particular one works. I'm going to move my cupcake back into the center. As I go to light this cupcake, I'm going to make sure that I've done all the things necessary to make sure that I am being as safe as possible. So I've already moved my hair back, but I just want to make sure that it's not going to come past my shoulders. So I'm pushing it further back over my shoulders. If there were anything else flammable nearby, I would make sure that was out of the range, but everything is a-okay as far as that is concerned. So I'm ready to go and light this candle. In order to do so, I want to find the wick of the candle. So I'm going to locate the cupcake, find the base of the candle by moving my hand up the candle wick, up the candle shaft into the wick. I'm going to bring the lighter in, and I'm going to touch the tip of the lighter to the wick. And I want those two things touching so that I know for sure the flame is going to ignite directly onto the wick. And once they are touching, I can then move my hand out of the way, making sure that they stay touching and that my hand is nice and stable on the table that's holding the lighter. So I'm doing that. And then I can ignite the lighter. Before I do that, I want to talk about what to expect. You will hear, of course, I'll hear the click of the lighter, the whoosh of the flame from the lighter, but also I'm going to hover my hand over this lighter and this candle, and I will feel the flame coming from the lighter. And when it catches, or when the candle lights as well, that flame will kind of double. Because you'll have not only the flame from the lighter, but the flame from the candle. And so there'll be a feeling of two flames. So I will be able to hear first the flame from the lighter, then the flame from the candle igniting, and I will also feel the heat increase under my palm from the presence of two flames. Okay, let's make some fire. Okay. There we go. And you want to move your lighter and then verify with your hand that you actually have lit the candle. And there you have it, a lit candle. And then you can make a wish and blow it out. And of course, you can reach in and make sure that the candle has actually been extinguished. And then the best part is eating the cupcake. That's what we're really all here for. Okay.